Welcome, family, to another episode of Broken Theory. Today we got my homie LEROY Curriculum. Man, no doubt. How you feeling today?
I'm doing okay, doing good right now. A little bit of insomniac, but I feel pretty good so far, though.
That's
good.
Awesome, man. Where are you based out of?
I'm currently based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but background-wise, it's kind of a mixed bag with different cities in my upbringing. So
Let's talk about that real quick.
Okay.
Name a couple of those cities.
Sure.
For the listeners, they may be in those cities.
Okay. Yeah. So I was originally born in Chicago, born in the South Side of Chicago, but during the time, I think we may have left at around I was maybe around 8 or something like that. We lived in Indianapolis, but I pretty much spent most of my upbringing in Memphis.
Okay.
In Memphis, Tennessee. So I spent all the way from elementary to high school down in Memphis. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's talk about making music, man. At what age did you start making music?
I think it was more in my teenage years. I was dabbling in poetry, and then eventually actually just trying to write more raps and stuff like that. But actually officially releasing music to the public would be around the mid to late 2010s. Okay. I would say I started to really apply more into releasing music.
And did you start releasing music by yourself? Were you recording by yourself, messing around? How was that for you?
Yeah. So I would I had this. I think I still got the blue snowball mic, so I was using that and also using Audacity, that free recording software.
I was there too.
Some vocals and stuff like that.
Yep,
so, yeah,
absolutely.
Can't get clutch. Yeah,
absolutely, 100%, bro. I mean, so that was pretty much your first setup, if you will.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who has been responsible for your music as far as mixing and mastering, engineering and everything like that?
Well, early on, I did end up going to a few studio sessions when I was settling up here in Minnesota. I have to shout out my homie Aaron Boone. He helped record and mix and master for me at it was a creative college for both musicians and other creatives and stuff like that in downtown Minneapolis. It's now been closed down. And I have to also salute as well Ethan Dietz out of St. Paul, and another great mentor and friend of mine, Brian Carter. He helped mix and master some of my stuff, but also a lot of my stuff I do engineer by myself.
Okay.
I record, mix and master. But Brian in particular, I would send in some of my material, and he would give me insight on certain things, like what can I do to improve on it, whether I need to apply a de-esser or control my compression and all that stuff. Different type of tips that, him having a more professional ear at it and more experience, he was able to give me some more insight. Even if I don't want him to, engineer my music, he can still give me some recommendations on how to improve it.
No doubt, man. That's always good when you can have somebody in your corner. One thing that I learned in this music industry, man, real quick, as far as my story goes, I was homeless in 2017 and I taught myself how to mix and master all my stuff. I was just an artist before that. I was doing all the mixing and mastering now, beat making, graphic designing, learning videography, Photoshop, things like that, so I never have to depend on someone ever again.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
yeah,
present day, what I have learned is that you do need a team. You do need people that you could depend on. It is a good space for an artist to be able to be an artist and not have to worry about how the mixing sounds, because, they know that their homie got it covered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just off rip, man. And not even just the mixing and mastering. I'm just saying in general, when you have friends that do things that you need, it's a good way to nurture that relationship by like kind of like hiring them and kind of putting them on. But yeah, man, definitely appreciate that. Let's talk about how you go through your spells of like creativity. How does creativity come for you?
Man, it got its ebbs and flows. It definitely got its ebbs and flows at times. Certain days out of a week, I feel like I'm being more productive when I'm working on beats, or if I want to get back into the more writing side of the music. It got its ebbs and flows, but sometimes maybe I feel like I kind of go through a little bit of burnout. And in addition, life outside of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the 9 to 5 and just other things, with family, trying to maintain that, have that stable and stuff like that. That kind of can affect it, and then also seeking out other ventures and stuff like that. So when it does strike though, I try to at least have ideas down. Even if I use a dynamic mic to record some drafts, I want to at least have a good basis, so that way if I do want to revisit idea, I'll have that down, and then maybe when I get back into that inspiration, I can be able to go back into that pocket and try to make something.
Yep, it's very important, man. One thing that I learned, I think it was from a Future interview, and he was saying that he does not even start listening to a beat until he's recording. You know what I'm saying? Because like sometimes when you're in your zone and you may be just, mumbling something or saying something real quick, to yourself, trying to play around with the melodies or whatever. But like, you may not remember the amount of like emotion that you put into it or said something a certain way and the emphasis you put on it. Like, you'll never be able to recapture that moment again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you could try to redo it, but it's not going to sound the same, but if you already have it like recorded down, you could at least like have an idea of what it's supposed to sound like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or like piece it together little by little, man. So I appreciate every aspect of the creative process, man. And I appreciate you, letting me into the creative process.
Likewise.
Speaking of that, man, I really want to talk about your musical influences, because I listen to your music, man, and it's like, it's timeless, bro. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, it kind of gives me a nostalgic 2000s feel. I told you that. I don't know if that's like an era that you like.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're going for, but like, it's very reminiscent of like early stage Kanye to me, as far as like lyrics, beat selection, mindset, topics, like what you're talking about and stuff like that, man. Like I like to hear it. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much. And
no problem, bro.
And when you making reference to that, I guess that definitely holds weight, because I am fond of that type of era of music. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's definitely an underappreciated era. Don't get me wrong, like I'm always gonna love 90s rap.
Yeah.
When it comes to folks like Gangstar and
Legends.
The Cool G raps.
Breauxkin.
Even like to my southern folk, my southern folks, like Scarface, 8-Ball MJG, even early 3-6 Mafia. It's all, man. It's just a mixture of people. I really enjoy it. But I guess when it comes down to the influences, there's quite a bit from both producers and MCs that I can attribute a lot to, to give me that spark. So
let's start with artists first. We could talk about producing in a minute. That's a whole nother subject. We gonna get there.
Okay. All right. So when it comes to artists and MCs, I have to say Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Cool G Rap, MF Doom.
For sure.
A lot of underground cats. Scarface, Project Pat. I gotta shout out Project Pat.
That's five.
Yeah.
That's
Who else I
five.
can? Yeah. He just brought that. He just brought that. He brought that. He brought that charm. He
Uh-huh.
brought that. He brought that charm into there, and just his even just his storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, just in Memphis, and you know the place I used to call home at one point. You know, he brought that. He brought that in. Who else I can really just think of? You know, but definitely Dell when it comes to lyricism, I really have to give my hat and give my credit to him, you know, his
Yeah,
creation and just making concept albums together too.
for sure.
Yeah,
What are some of the biggest challenges that you face in your music career, and how did you overcome them?
for one is I think actually trying to build a fan base and trying to find my niche in my sound and being able to gravitate to an audience that may enjoy what I do,
Uh-huh.
and still trying to experiment sometimes, you know, with different, even maybe with like modern sounds, but not being too far left that it may alienate the people that's already listened to my music.
Absolutely.
So I think that's been the a challenge, as well as even on like a local level. Sometimes you know, I try to attend open mics, but again, like the 9 to 5 kind of comes into there. And also some people locally, some people locally, you know, they kind of have like different politics and
Oh yeah, it's that
different
high school
different
bullshit,
things.
man.
Yeah, yeah. So it's some folks that may be more popular in the city, but
Yeah,
at the same time, you know, they may have done things not only to me but also people that I have close relationships with. They soured and fouled that. So in turn, like I rather try to, you know, if I can't really establish anything here locally, I at least try to utilize the internet and
I
try
was
to
just about
connect
to
with
say,
other
man,
people.
that's your best
Yeah,
friend. You know what I'm saying? Especially like when the underground stuff that we do, man, it's like it's very, very niche. You know what I'm saying? And like creating
yes,
that
sir.
type of music, you know what I mean? Like we have to understand who our target audience is. Like who do we make music for? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yes,
like,
sir. Yes, sir.
so like knowing that, we know it's not everybody's cup of tea. We know it's not for everybody. We know certain things that like pushing it on a local level would almost be like kind of like a disservice. You know what I'm saying? Because like
Yes,
there's
sir.
so many more people that are like ready for that type of music. You just got to find them, and you got to know where to find them. The internet is a big place, and it's an expensive place. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're talking about money and making investments in yourself. But the best thing that you could do, bro, is come into the game with ownership, come into the game with value, come into the game offering to help people. You know what I mean? Because it's not about how talented you are. It's about how much value you could provide when you're in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. And
Absolutely.
well, that value though, like just how you mentioned too, going back, you were also talking about the other things that you do, like videography, graphic design,
Uh-huh.
having that sense of versatility, saying like maybe a person may want to offer a service, want a service from you.
Uh-huh.
May not even be music related, but okay, maybe want to record a video for some type of festival, some type of party going on.
Uh-huh.
And that's another form of income, and also building that profile, building that portfolio of your work, so that way it doesn't feel like you're just pigeonholed to just doing one thing.
Yeah, man. Especially in this business, man. You know, working a 9 to 5, I realized very quick it's not for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I'm there's nothing against it, and it's very necessary in the journey. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I definitely
you have to fund your hobby some way, somehow. You have to survive. Like, these are things you can't avoid. So it's very necessary. But I'm saying it doesn't have to be a long run game for you. You know what I'm saying? Not just you in general, but just anybody.
Yeah.
You know, focusing on setting yourself up to where you do have multiple streams of income. You're not so reliant on that to where your life is delegated by what you like to do. You know what I'm saying? And
I definitely what you're saying.
yeah, from there, you know what I mean? Everything else just grows like to better standards. I feel like, bro, you know, to be honest, from what I heard from you, man, like I'm excited to hear what you're working on. I'm excited to work with you. You know what I'm saying? Put in some type of work. Your approach during the creative process, what's that like? Do you make the beat first? I know you said you're the producer as well. Do you make the beat first? Do you have like song ideas already laid out and then you make the beat? Like, talk about that process for me real quick.
Oh, I think it's more. I think it's more when I actually make the beat. If I go through a gauntlet of just making beats, and then if it's just that one, like, oh, okay, I feel like this is something that I can fit my voice into. I'll go right on ahead and do that, and then sonically, depending on whatever type of samples I'm using, also the groove and the rhythm of the drums. How should I go about making a song like that? Also concept wise, like how my mood was, like what type of things I experienced at that moment or during that time. I feel like that can be a good fit, and be a good fit for that track in particular. And if I can make a concept, could this also have that relatability and be able to, you know, whoever listened to it feel like, you know, I went through a similar situation like that.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad how he was able to make perform and make the song, and how he was able to articulate himself. So
yeah,
I think those are things that I kind of consider in the music making process and on my end. So
yeah, no doubt, man. Everybody has their own things that, you know, they have to do or don't have to do, or you know what I mean? Like that's what makes this thing so special, you know what I mean? Because how you may approach the record, I may not even think to approach the record, and vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So it's really a beautiful thing just seeing it. What are some of the moments that you've experienced self-doubt and like creative block? What have you done to get out of those spells?
Ooh, that's a pretty good question. I'm still guilty of this, but probably comparison amongst my peers, especially now online, where a lot of things are about metrics, you know. And one thing I'm trying to do is that not trying to be bogged down on the metrics of where I'm at right now compared to other artists that I know of and that I also enjoy.
Yeah.
And just seeing that, oh man, like they got this amount of fans or something like that. But then I have to come to a realization that first off, I'm doing the majority of the work, you know, by myself at this time. They have a team of people that specialize in different things, whether that's marketing, A&R, videography and stuff like that. So I have to realize that they have much more resources, even to the point of like region wise, like you know, they're from much more prominent regions, you know, whether we're talking about the East Coast or the West Coast. They're from more prominent regions, so that I think that has a factor in that too. So I'm trying not to allow that comparison to steal the joy from me making my music and deter me from continue on making music, whether that's through instrumentals or whether that's through actual vocal tracks.
Yeah, man. One thing I do want to make sure I say is that nobody's fighting fair these days. So like you doing everything yourself is just like completely genuine and 100% authentic. So one, the effort, whether you have 20% or 100, if you give all the 20% that you have, you gave 100. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know what I mean? Like you being authentic and going after your dreams the way that you want to and not faking the numbers like these big artists are. It just says numbers about you, like how people know off rip how you do business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not out here faking numbers. So it's like the people that tap into your song are really tapping into your song. And you know that. And that's real data that you can actually use and track. You may not have the money right now to, you know what I mean, put in, like, get the data from websites and retarget and stuff like that. But that all will come. You know what I'm saying? The first step is like gathering all the emails, gathering, you know what I mean, data. Yeah. Finding out where your audience is. Is that something that you know?
Yeah. So I do run ads on some of my music.
Okay. What
particularly
platforms?
So it's more meta ads. You know, the Facebook ads. And then I try to track down who's engaging with the content, whoever actually stays in, they like the song, and what part of the world they from. And I noticed that a lot of times they're particularly the music that I do, like especially going towards like that old school underground boom bap type stuff. I noticed that a lot of audience are from, you know, like from other countries like Portugal or maybe the UK, maybe Germany or Brazil.
Well, depending on you know what you're targeting specifically, and I don't know how you're doing ads, if you know you're working with an agency or you're, you know, watching tutorials, trying different things, seeing what works for you. I don't know your strategy, but go ahead.
It's okay if I let you know.
Go ahead.
Okay. So lately I've been using this thing. You ever heard of Hyped It?
Nah.
Oh, okay. Hyped It is a company. They got a YouTube. It's a YouTube channel. It's owned by this DJ. I forgot. He's from some European country. His name is John Gold. What he does is that he has his website. He has his agency. What I do is that he recently made this program called the AI Spotify campaigns. So what it does is that Facebook, how you set up Facebook ads it can kind of get complicated at times. So this process, what it does is that you just connect your Facebook account and your Instagram account, and then your Facebook pixel. You'll do that, and then what you can do is that, you know, you connect your Spotify, you connect your Spotify profile, you connect your Spotify track that you want to promote. You connect that, and then you can start typing in the information, and what it will do is that it'll transfer over that data and actually help launch the Facebook ad campaigns a little bit faster than you know, you do it by yourself, which I actually won't discourage anybody from doing. If you know how to do Facebook ads, I highly recommend that. You know the ins and outs of how to organize and stuff like that, and how to launch a campaign. And just setting out a certain budget too, and just learn the different. What's
the budget you've been rocking with?
Sometimes I'll do maybe a $5 or $10 a day campaign. Maybe run that for maybe like a few weeks or something like that. Yeah. It just it depends on that, and if it depends on like you know, if the song actually resonates with people, if there's a lot more people engaging with it, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They like the song, and then also what country are they coming from? Like South Africa, like, oh, okay, South Africa, they like this particular song right here. So that lets me know that there's a possibility of having that audience over there. Yeah. That genuine people, like actual people taking their time out and actually commenting, you know, and you know, complimenting the song, or even if they hate it. I mean, that still lets me know, like, okay,
they felt something.
Yeah. So
you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the best art in the world makes you pick a side. You either fucking love it or you fucking hate it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Everything isn't everybody's tea. You know what I'm saying? Music is subjective, so you gotta allow the viewer to look at it in the eyes of the beholder, you know?
Of course.
Absolutely, bro. Can you share a moment that your personal experiences and backgrounds influence your music?
Yeah, so it was a track that I released maybe I think it was like a year ago, something like that. I called it it's called Carry On. And
Okay.
it's that term of like actually carrying on in life
Yeah.
when you feel like you feel like you've just been bogged down, you've been just discouraged, you've been going through a lot of things, people may come in and out of your life. So that whole track was like just out of motivation at that time where I was in a rough patch, just trying to actually carry on. So
Yeah.
I did that track, and it seemed like a lot of people, quite a bit of people liked that track, and yeah, and I just wanted to put that out there, and kind of be vulnerable at that time,
Nah, I dig it, bro.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. And I could appreciate that, you know what I mean? And I know how it feels releasing a record that, like, you may not have like a whole bunch of fans in the world, but like the fans that you do have, you are worried about like how they are gonna react to, like, you know what I mean? This new version of you that you haven't put out, or this new subject matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't help but to think that, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But nah, I appreciate you, man. Is there anything that you working on right now that's coming up next?
Well, I am still trying to be open to actually doing more producing for other artists, and being able to do some more material. And then whenever I get a chance, I feel inspired to actually get back on the mic too. I want to do that. I was trying to work on a project, producing another album for myself, called The Decibel Understudy. But lately my approach has been more of like releasing singles out there. So
Okay.
which I'm not too, I'm not going to negate the option of putting out another project. It's just that I feel like right now, maybe I should focus more on singles due to the current landscape of music consumption. People.
Yeah, nah. I mean, that's a great idea, man.
Yeah.
And especially like when you're trying to build that audience, it's big because your audience, they get to taste test essentially your singles. You know what I'm saying? They get to, oh, okay, that's a little bit, it wasn't my flavor. Oh, okay, what's this? Okay, this is the shit I like. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they get to kind of lean in, and they could tell when what they like is coming from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they may not like everything that you do, you know what I'm saying? But that's the beauty of an artist, you know what I'm saying? It's like seasons. You look at all the greatest artists, and like each album that they drop was a different season in their life. You know what I'm saying? That they was just like going crazy in a different way. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Likewise.
Yeah, before we get out of here, man, I want to give a shout out to you, and definitely say that we're gonna have to collab. When we get off of here, we'll get on a call real quick and speak in private, you know what I mean, and
definitely
figure some shit out. But is there anything you want to say to your audience, you know what I'm saying, that's listening right now?
If you are out there and and you resonate with whatever I do, I just want to say I appreciate you. I don't care if it's one person, 20 people, or 500 people. If you take the time out to enjoy what I put out there, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being invested in whatever art that I'm able to produce at this time. And if you have any trials and tribulations going on in life, I hope you be able to overcome that, being able to prosper and make a great life on your end. So I think that's pretty much all I can say at this point.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Hey,
Likewise.
I'm gonna be in touch with you, brother.
All right, brother.
I'm gonna give you a call on the other end on IG and shit.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem, my brother.